Hi, I'm Talicza.
And I'm Rachael, and this is Transatlantic Crime, a true crime podcast that covers stories from each side of the pond. Every week, we will both cover a separate story with a running theme.
Disclaimer, this podcast will contain swearing and details that some people may find offensive. If you are of a sensitive disposition, listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Transatlantic Crime.
So close.
You're a bit of a grumpy puss today, aren't you, Rachael?
As you can
I
see,
can feel it.
I'm in bed. I did actually last night. I had went to Koreatown and had Korean barbecue, and I'm a little bit hungover today.
I've never had Korean barbecue. Can we get it when I come out?
Oh man, yeah, it's so fun. It's really good, and you have to be really hungry to do it because you get so much food, so much meat.
Oh, yes, please. Yeah, I want to do that. We're adding that to the list. Ruth's done it. Cheeky
Oh
bitch.
really? Oh
Without
yeah,
me.
I think she did.
Yeah.
Right.
Fucking cheek of it.
I wonder
think
if
it's
you can
'cause she went
find
on a
that
date.
in London anywhere. Probably.
Maybe. They got like everything.
Yeah.
So probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to the cinema on Friday and I saw the film Spencer. And
Ooh.
it's about Princess Diana,
Yeah.
but like it's just one weekend that she spends in Sandringham, which is the
Oh.
house that the royals own in Norfolk, and that's where they go at Christmas.
Right.
And it's Kirsten Stewart,
Mhm.
who plays her.
Yeah.
And usually I'm like, you are an annoying cunt. But in this, she is so good
It
as
looks
Princess
like
Diana.
it looks like she does a really good job of it.
Oh, it's brilliant. Like you forget that it's her.
Yeah.
You just think, oh my, you just get really into the fact that it's Princess Diana. And yeah, like I just wonder, like, will Will and Harry watch it and stuff?
I
And
wonder,
because they're
yeah.
in it, like two little boys, like
Right.
play them. Yeah, but it's so good. And like this isn't really giving anything away, but she is
I
reading a
mean,
book
we
about
all know what
Anne Boleyn.
happens.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, she's reading a book about Anne Boleyn and it just got me into like a fucking history hole and like
Oh.
yeah, it's just like really it's just really cool. It's great.
Mm.
I definitely recommend it.
Okay. I can't wait to
Yeah.
watch it.
Carly's been hanging out with me and Tom this weekend and every time I've seen her, she's had a fucking wine in her hand or a fag. I'm just
Amazing.
like
Yes.
she's like broken up, Carly, so she's just like every time I see her, she's just smoking a fag out the window and I'm just like, "Hey, buddy."
Whatever you need to do to cope. No judgment.
Yeah.
Have a cigarette if you
God,
need to.
no.
Yeah.
Definitely no judgment. Yeah, like we were at dinner, she was like, "Can I get another glass of wine? I'll have a small." I was like, "Have a large, have what you want."
Yeah. Do it.
It's fine. What have you been up to this weekend? Korean barbecue?
Korean
Getting
barbecue.
drunk?
Yeah, a little bit. And some filming, and yeah, I went to Arizona last weekend, which was amazing. Very nice trip.
Yeah. God,
If
the house you
anyone,
were in looked incredible.
oh man, it's so nice. It was a pool. It had like 5
Oh,
bedrooms, just huge. And dogs.
having a
Lots of
pool at your
dogs.
house.
A dog
Good boys
weekend.
and girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like a stupid mention, but it's on my mind right now. So,
Yeah.
and I also want to see if there's any listeners who watch this as well. There's a show called The Bachelorette. Have you watched it
Yeah.
or heard of it?
I haven't watched it, but I know what it is. Like, I think I watched it in Australia, the Australian version.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know
Yeah.
the vibe. You go on dates with different guys, and then you pick the one you want by giving them a rose, right?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's becoming like a sport. People analyze it after the show, like after the
Make
episodes, and
bets.
yeah, make bets, and they count like the rose quota and all this kind of stuff. Anyways,
The rose quota.
The Bachelorette is also from Minnesota, so that's kind of cool. But one of the contestants is the spitting image of David Miscavige. I can't get
No,
over it.
that is not hot. Is he really small as well?
He's short and same kind of fit, like better looking than David Miscavige, but like if you put them side to side, you would think that he was David Miscavige's son. It's
Oh my
Chris
God.
S. If anyone watches it and wants to agree
Okay, I'm
with
gonna
me.
Google The Bachelorette.
Chris S.
The Bachelorette Chris S. Okay.
Yeah. And you tell me, Talicza. Every time I watch it now, I'm like, that's David Miscavige.
Don't choose the head of Scientology.
No.
Yeah, he does look like David
You think?
Miscavige.
Yeah.
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 Oh, he's not very tall.
No.
Yeah, she's got heels on in this picture, I think. But still, who's your favourite to win?
Oh. Nate.
Oh, they all scum.
No.
Nate.
They're all
Let's have a look at Nate. Let's have a look at Rachel's crush.
He's not my crush. I just think that he's gonna win. He's just a nice guy.
He looks very friendly, and they suit
Yeah.
each other. Like
Yeah, exactly.
when they're together, like they look like a good couple. Yeah, I'll give you that. What's she bringing to the table? The Bachelorette. Obviously, she's pretty good looking, but
an elementary school teacher.
Aww.
She was a contestant on The Bachelor, and she was like in the top 2 or 3, and then he dumped her, and then so she became the Bachelorette.
Now she needs to find her Prince Charming.
She does, yes.
What
you guys don't have that over there, do you? It's not like a big thing. You have Love Island.
We don't have The Bachelor England or The Bachelorette England, no. We have Love Island, but that's like they just get together to win because like you have to win as a couple, I think.
Right.
I don't know. I don't watch it, but like loads of my friends watch it, and like there's a big thing that if you watch Love Island, people are like really judgy. They're like, "Oh, like, you watch Love Island," and I'm just like, whatever.
It's so big over here too, though. Like people love to watch it here, like the UK one.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
It's because they're like the girls are like gorgeous. They're all gorgeous, and then they're like, "All right, love, do you want to come round and like sleep in my cabin?"
It's true, and all like your slang, like, "Oh, he pied me off and mugged me off."
He pied me off. Absolute pie.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, she is mugging me off.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Binned off as well. That's another one.
Yeah.
Oh, she's binned me off for Michael or whatever.
I'm fuming.
Oh, absolutely fuming. I can't believe he binned me off for Rosie.
Yeah, that's very good, Talicza. You could be on Love Island.
Thanks, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I couldn't. I'm about 16 stone overweight. Half of me could be on Love Island. They'd have to fucking catapult me into the bikini. Yeah, they just fucking flounce about in bikinis, don't they, the whole time?
They really do. Bikinis and heels and fake tan and Botox and...
Fuck that. I don't have the patience. Like
50-pound eyelashes and... Yeah. 50-pound weight, I mean.
I could not be doing it.
But yeah, I wanted to say that because if any of our listeners like reality TV like The Bachelorette or Love Island, I'd love to talk about it with you. Maybe we'll start a little
Go for it.
B podcast where we chat about British and American reality TV.
That would be good.
Yeah.
This is why we need a network, and then we can think of loads of shows that we can like let people do.
Yeah.
Anyway, TBC.
Across the pond.
It's gonna come.
All
right. My God, that would be the network name. Oh.
We're doing it.
You're a genius.
We're doing it.
Doing it. Right, you want to... Oh, one more thing before we get started. My friend Sarah sent me an article this morning, and she was like, oh, I hope you've seen this for the podcast. Even I saw it and was like, holy hell. I might, like, do this for another episode.
Okay.
But basically, an article on Insider magazine, and the headline is... A necrophiliac who sexually abused 99 corpses in hospital mortuaries over a 12-year period is jailed for double murder.
What?
I'm like, fucking hell. What is it? Necrophilia or murder?
Oh my gosh.
A British hospital worker has admitted to the 1987 murders of 2 women. A court heard on Thursday. I don't know how he got caught for that. It might have been DNA. David Fuller, 67, also admitted to sexually abusing the corpses of women and 3 children over a 12-year period. Yet he would work late shifts and prowl the morgue when other staff members had left.
That's so creepy. That's like the definition of a creep.
I I kind of think necrophilia is like a lot more common than we think it is.
I don't want to think
Because
about that,
it's not
Talyssa.
like anyone's gonna. I'm just saying, like, there's no witnesses. It's a witness. It's a witnessless crime.
Right. You're
So
right.
it's like bestiality. Like they can't tell anyone.
Oh my gosh. If I died, cremate me like right away, like within a day. I don't care.
I was saying, if one of my relatives had died and someone had fucked their corpse, I would not want to know.
No.
They've had to say to the victims, well, the people's families who I'm going to say the corpses' families.
Yeah.
They've said to them like this, your relative's name is going to be like read out in court, basically. So we have to tell you
Mm-hmm.
that this has happened
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise you might find out through that, and we don't want you to
Right.
find out through that. So they have to tell them. I wouldn't want to know that.
No.
I'd be like, I don't care. Don't tell me.
Never tell me that.
I'm not obviously not saying fucking corpses is okay. I'm saying, what good is it to know that? You're already upset that they're dead.
It reminds me of the episode that we did where I covered the like black market
Oh,
of
the body parts.
donated body parts and donated bodies. 'Cause
Yeah,
that was in the
same
news.
thing.
That was in the news this week as well about how
Really?
a family donated their grandfather's body for medical research.
Medical science.
Yeah, and they found out that it was being dissected in front of like an audience of 500 people at some hotel somewhere as part of an event. And
What?
You want to know how they found out? They were at that event.
No.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What
And
event is this?
well, apparently like the guy, hold on, let me look it up really quick.
Come see us cut up dead grandpa. Fest. No. Oh, I'm telling you this, I'm not RSVPing next year. That sounds like
no.
a terrible day out.
Yeah, so this is if anyone wants to read it, it's a Vice article. Family finds dead grandfather being
is.
dissected at an oddities event. And people paid up to $500 to watch at a Marriott ballroom. So it was like an oddities event. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I thought better of you, Marriott.
For
Classy
shame.
establishment.
Yeah.
For shame.
Yeah, an Oddities and Curiosities Expo. And apparently the guy who was like doing the dissecting, he was like, well, it was for medical research. We were showing how the body works.
That's kind of hard to argue with, I think.
Yeah, but still, like, you think you're donating your body to like help someone figure something out, whereas
students?
Yeah, students or any kind of research, but instead you're like displayed in front of an audience of people who don't give a shit about medical research. They're just there to see something weird.
Yeah. I think it's mostly like, for me, that would be he's been sold that grandpa's body.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Somebody's got some fucking money under the table. Like, that's what would piss me off the most. It's like, I didn't say you could sell him for gain.
Oh, well, actually, you're right. It says here, the company sold the body to Jeremy Siliberto, the founder of deathscience.org, who partnered with the Oddities and Curiosities Expo to hold the cadaver autopsy event. Siliberto said he bought the bodies for this event for more than $10,000.
Oh, hell no. No, no, no.
Dude.
Also, calling your website Death Science does not make you a scientist.
No, it doesn't. This guy
Can I
is one of
please
those guys
highlight
that
this?
wears a lab coat and that's it.
Yeah, no doctorate, no fucking medical
No.
experience.
Just YouTube videos.
Carving up grandpa with a knife and fork.
Ooh,
Like, absolutely not.
So sad.
It's horrible. Yeah, well, fuck that. So, our theme this week is a little bit retrofitted because I wanted to do a story and then I was like, right, what would the theme of that be?
I love it.
So,
I do that
was
sometimes
how it came around.
too.
So, the theme this week is killer singers.
Yes.
But to be fair, there are a few of them.
There are, yeah.
Big egos, I think.
Insecurities, egos, sex, rock and roll, drugs, all that.
Cocaine, a lot of it.
A cocktail for disaster.
Actually, no one gets murdered in mine, so it might have to be called criminal singers. But
well,
either
so
way,
they do in mine.
cool.
Yeah.
At least
Okay.
you've saved it.
I've
All right.
saved
Okay.
it.
You're going first. So
Okay.
hit me with it.
All right. Danelle Clyde Cooley was born December 17th, 1910 in Grand, Oklahoma. In his childhood,
You are straight in there.
Yep. I'm getting straight into it.
Wow. Pants down, straight in.
I'm not messing around today. I got shit to do.
No foreplay for me.
Yeah,
Go.
this is about this man, Danelle Clyde Cooley,
right.
who we'll find out his performer name in a little bit.
Okay.
Not very recognizable, but apparently he made a big impact. Anyways.
Okay.
So he was born in 1910 in Grand, Oklahoma. His family were poor. His dad was a violin player, and he made money by like playing in bars and stuff, and people toss him money. So Danelle Clyde Cooley, he took after his dad and he played the violin as well, and he wanted to be in an orchestra. So do I. I love the violin too. I always wish that I could
Such
play
good skill.
Yeah.
So do I, but you go through that dying cat phase before you get anywhere near good, and it's just like, this isn't worth it for me or anyone involved.
Like, can I take this for the next 6 weeks before I become good? No, I cannot.
Yeah.
Nope. So, yeah, he wanted to be in an orchestra, but his family were too poor to, like, have him be in an orchestra, so he just kind of took after his dad and performed in bars and stuff like that. So in his childhood, he was sent to the Chemawa Indian School in Oregon, as he was part Cherokee. Chemawa Indian School was a boarding school that used, I'm going to use this term lightly, it used immersive education to assimilate and integrate the Native American population into the thing that the article that I read said mainstream society, but I'm going to say white society.
White society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It forced separation of Native American children from their families, communities, and traditions by banning their language, dance, drumming, clothes, and hairstyles, amongst other things. So already he's kind of had a rough childhood. He came from a poor background, and then he's shipped off to this school. In high school, Danelle earned the nickname Spade after he won a poker game where he apparently won several hands with a series of flushes, all spades. And over time, he elaborated on this story. And one article that I read was like, it's like a 1 in 117,000 chance that this would actually happen. So it's probably not true.
He's bullshitting.
Yeah. While he was in school, he got better at the cello and the violin, and he began to be well known for his entertaining performances on the violin specifically. He was also known as a hothead who made rash decisions. At 17 years old, he met and married his classmate Anne, and she got pregnant, so they both ran away to Los Angeles, California with their newborn son, John. Spade later described it, moving to Los Angeles, as arriving to California, in quotes, with a fiddle under his arm and a nickel in his pocket. So they had nothing.
And a baby.
And a baby.
A wife.
17 years old, though.
Jesus Christ.
Not
I
a time
a
to
toilet
get
roll.
married.
Like, no.
Don't get married at 17, and try to not have children then too. Enjoy your teen years.
Yeah, abortions are free. Let's just say that. Well, here they are.
Yeah, we have Planned Parenthood.
I don't know how much one sets you back in America.
Well, if you go to Planned Parenthood, it's free as well, depending on the state, I guess. Anyways, they did not do that. They did not go to Planned Parenthood.
Nope.
But that subject does come up a little bit later. Of abortion.
Okay.
So, in Los Angeles, Spade hustled, playing the fiddle and finding himself picking up regular gigs. Oh, I'm sorry about my mouth thing.
It's fine. You sound fine.
Any, like, C's or G's or K's, you can hear it. This sentence is hard.
It's because you have to put, those noises come from the back of your mouth, like your tongue going, so it's like, hits the metal thing. You're good.
It's just some sentences. I'm like, why did I include so many C's in this sentence? Anyways. So he's playing the fiddle, and he found himself picking up regular gigs with the country western bands working the LA circuit. He played for one band called the Sons of the Pioneers, where one member, Roy Rogers, had moved on to be in the movies. Spade made friends with Roy and soon became his stunt double and stand-in, and also playing in Roy Rogers' other band, the Riders of Purple Sage. So him and Roy Rogers were becoming good friends, and Spade kind of looked up to him as like, I want that career. I want to be in movies. I want to be in
Yeah.
TV.
It's so LA, like, just gonna do some stuntman work on the side.
Yeah.
Like, no biggie.
Back then, too, I feel like
Crazy.
I've read so many stories where people just walk up to a movie set and are like, hey, give me a job. And they get a job.
Yeah.
It's like, why
Yeah.
can't that happen now? I would love to do that.
You could be a star.
Yeah. So Spade and Roy Rogers also looked very similar too, so that's how he was able to be his stunt double and stand-in.
Mm.
So Spade, he started doing pretty well for himself. By that point, he was working a regular gig at the Venice Pier Ballroom, playing for up to 1,000 people every Saturday night for 18 months straight.
Wow.
Yeah, so he
Wow.
was making pretty good money. And at
He's a paid musician.
Yeah, he's a paid musician and he's working on the side in movies and TV. So at that time in the early 40s, the big band craze and Western swing dance was having a moment. And it's disputed that Spade Cooley was one of the first people to, in quotes, invent Western swing dance. Did that come over there? Was that popular?
I have never heard of that.
Really? Like
I
swing
don't know
dancing?
what that is.
Swing dancing?
Yeah, it's just not something that I would ever do, or I'm not much of a dancer.
I guess it's like it is a big part of American culture at that time. It was just like that was the thing to do. One of the like stories that I know about my great grandparents is like up until my great grandpa died and like he was like 70. They went to see a big band every Friday night. Like that was their date. Isn't that cute?
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
That's lovely. And dancing together is so sweet
Isn't
and
it?
like so
Yeah.
wholesome and fun.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, it's really cute.
So that was when that all started, that kind of big band era, like what's his name? Bing Crosby and
Yeah.
that whole era. So, with his popularity growing, he earned the name, or actually a lot of people say that he gave himself the name of the King of Western Swing.
He
Eventually,
seems to give himself a few names.
yeah.
Wait, what is that?
He's just his ego
It's like
is
arrogance, isn't
growing.
it? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Mine's kind of the same in my story.
Okay. Eventually, he was becoming more and more popular in the big band world, and that brought him onto television and films, and he was touring with his band around the country. There's a rumor that he was like overbooking shows, so he had two other separate bands pretend to be him and travel around the country when he was as
What?
well. Yeah.
So he just gets the money and they don't
Yeah.
even see the real him.
Right.
That's really
Exactly.
funny.
Yeah. So his ego was growing as his popularity grew. He was also very insecure. Surprise, surprise. Another country
Fucking
western
around, was he?
Another country western singer, Bob Wills, was considered Spade's rival. In an attempt to reach Bob Wills' success, he tried to emulate it by hiring singer Tex Williams, who had a similar voice to one of Wills' singers in his band. Spade would often insult Wills publicly and play several of Will's signature songs. They had like a moment where Spade's band got bumped for Bob Will's band, and then he convinced the bookers to like have a battle of the bands, and he was just like insulting Bob Wills the whole time. I feel sorry for Bob Wills. He's just like, I'm just doing what I love to do, and this guy
Who's this guy?
yeah. So today, actually, Bob Wills is actually recognized as the king of Western swing, while a lot of people have forgotten about Spade Cooley. So
In your face, Spade.
In your face. And at the same time, Spade was also known as a womanizer and a heavy drinker, even though he was married and he had a son. His manager, Bennett, claimed that she paid up to 10 women to have abortions in 1 year.
Oh, my dear. Please pop something on the end of it.
Yeah, dude, put a cap on it. In 1945, Cooley had a #1 hit with Shame on You, which topped the charts for an astounding 2 full months. It also set off 6 straight top 10 singles. He also had several movies under his belt, and he was worth around $15 million. So this is like the height of his success. That same year, he met 21-year-old Mae Evans. He was 35. She was 21.
I feel a wife elbow coming in. I feel like the wife's gonna get pied off.
Yep. Nice. Ella was a clarinet player, and she was not a great singer, but Spade hired her as the female singer in the band, as his previous female singer, Carolina Cotton, had left to form her own band. He also was like clearly just completely smitten with Ella. She was super pretty and young and fun and outgoing. So as the band toured, the two formed a relationship, and Spade quickly divorced his first wife, Anne. Much to Ella's... Yeah. So him and Ella got married, but much to her disappointment, Spade wanted a more traditional wife, and she was soon taken off the band tour. And even though Spade owned a mansion in LA and a 56-foot yacht, among other property, he moved Ella into his newly bought home in the Mojave Desert. We've driven through the Mojave Desert, and tell me how many houses you would see in one.
I don't think I even saw one.
No, exactly. It's just
saw a lot of fucking cactuses.
Yep, lots of cactuses, and that's it. So just imagine like your early 20s, just got married. He also knocked her up, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have this great life touring with my husband, playing in the band around the country." And he's like, "Nope, you gotta go back to the house. I don't want you around anyone."
And he's gonna fuck every woman at every spot on the tour as well.
Yep. She knew that too.
Yeah, you would.
So she and their newborn baby girl, Melody, were isolated in the boring desert while Spade continued his tours and worked in LA, where he now had a hit television show. And you can actually watch some clips of his show on YouTube from the 40s and 50s. Okay. He would occasionally visit them, and a few years into their marriage, after they had another child, Danelle Jr., Spade's drinking began to get worse. Can we guess where this is going?
Yeah.
So by the 1950s, Spade's success and popularity began to fade. Not only were less people showing up to see him and his band, his drinking and temper had worsened, getting him fired from his television show. He began looking elsewhere to make money, like attempting to open a Disney-style water park right near his home in the Mojave. I don't think that's...
They don't put a water park in the desert, you dick.
I think that's like, it's a great idea, because when you're in the desert, that's all you can think about is like jumping in some water, but money-wise...
Yeah, but there's a reason no one's done it. Like, fucking water just evaporates every day.
The only place that has been successful is Vegas, and that's because a bunch of mob money went into it. So if it's just you putting money into it, it's not going to work out.
Badly found adventure. That happens in mine as well.
Yeah. He also fired his big band and instead hired a bunch of women to form a girl group around him. So he was just like kind of going nuts with...
Can they play
new ideas,
drums and guitar and stuff?
I mean, I'm sure some of them could.
Because otherwise it's just you.
Yeah, you on your
just
fiddle.
You and a bunch of chicks.
Right. So neither obviously were successful. Now, whenever he would visit his wife and children in the desert, he'd take out his anger on them, beating his wife and accusing her of having affairs.
With what? A lizard? Like, there's nothing there.
do I mention it later? Well, there was a point where he thought that she had had an affair with Roy Rogers, his best friend, and
Right.
she
Can't
might
blame her.
have. Yeah, she might have, but it doesn't matter. And there was also an
Yeah.
accusation that she had had an affair with two other men that they later, when detectives looked into it, they found out that the two men that he was accusing her having affairs with were gay, so that wasn't true either.
Yeah. Plus, how
So,
many women have you knocked up this year and made have
exactly.
abortions?
Yeah.
So,
So at one point she was admitted to a hospital after an episode with Spade. She told friends that she was sick with the flu. However, she begged hospital staff not to release her from the hospital because she feared for her life. And as we
oh,
know, back then, people didn't take women seriously if you're a wife, and they just thought she was having a hysterical manic episode and was like, no, you're good. We're going to release you.
plus
Go back home.
none of our business.
Yeah.
Like, it's you and your husband. Like, that's between you two.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe you should
don't
be a
stick your
better
nose in
wife.
marriages.
Right.
Yeah, you've probably done something.
Yeah.
There's a bit in Sopranos that really makes me laugh. Like, this guy gets out of prison and he's called Richie Aprile,
Mm
and his niece is Adriana,
hmm. Mm hmm.
and Chris, who's Adriana's boyfriend, hits Adriana and she's got
Yeah.
a black eye.
Yeah.
And then Richie is like, "Hey, you keep your hands off my niece unless you're willing to give her your name." It's like,
Oh my gosh. It's
fucking
true
hell.
though. That's up until probably 20 years ago, that's how people thought. That was
Yeah.
like the mainstream consensus. Like,
He's like, he's hitting her and he's not even married to her. Cheek of him.
yeah. But once you're married, it's fine. Like, hit her all you want.
Yeah, none of my beeswax.
Yeah. So it starts to get a little more horrible from here. In March of 1961, Spade and Ella filed for divorce. In April, they tried to reunite, attempting to fix things by going on a trip together. However, when they returned to their home in the Mojave, Spade unleashed his anger again, this time beating and torturing Ella for hours and in
Uh,
front of their daughter.
uh,
That night, on April 3rd, 1961, Spade had beaten Ella so badly that she fell victim to her injuries and died. She was
fuck.
36.
Oh.
The police and ambulance were called, and Spade was calm as he was questioned, and he claimed his wife had been injured by falling in the shower. However, it was clear
Oh,
to
come on.
authorities that these were not injuries from falling in the shower. When they took
No.
evidence, Spade had blood on his clothes, and as they searched the home, it was a mess with blood and hair and broken items strewn around. So they were like,
Shit.
clearly that this dude's lying. They knew straight away.
And you've dragged her about by her hair, is the conclusion.
Yeah. There's this really bizarre YouTube video that I watched that gives an account of this. It's called Spade, The Life and Crimes of Spade Cooley. Watch it on YouTube. It's not very long. It's like 15 minutes long, but it's really bizarre because they're telling this really dark story, but on top of it, they're playing like his happy country music. It just doesn't go
No.
together.
Oh, there's a reason that not everybody is like a director.
No.
YouTube is just people gone wild.
It
Like,
really
put whatever you
is.
want, do any sliding effect.
I don't know. It's like, I think it's also a video from a TV show that was made in the 80s because everyone has like huge, those huge 80s glasses. They're talking to the
Rachael, sitting here with my huge glasses on, I resent that. They are back. No, I know what you mean. A lot of hairspray, a lot of perms.
Yeah, lots of perms, lots of like, when the audio is kind of muffled and the picture is kind of blurry.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
Truly, that's what it is. Anyways, check it out, and you can see too. You can also see what he looks like, which is again like another, like, nothing dude. Nothing great.
Yeah.
No great features. Not much hair.
Yeah.
Just a question mark of a face.
Just big old bollocks
Yeah.
that just go, I'm the best thing since sliced bread.
Yes.
And that's what got him through.
Yeah. 2 weeks later, on April 26th, Spade was indicted by a Kern County grand jury for the murder of his wife. Their daughter, Melody, who was 14 years old at the time, bravely gave...
Whoa, I thought she was going to be a kid.
No, she was 14. Ella had her when she
Yeah, 'cause
was
she was 20,
21.
right?
Yeah, 21. And
Yeah.
then she's now 36. So, yeah, checks out.
Yeah.
So she bravely gave a statement as a witness describing how she was forced to watch her mother being beaten.
Fuck me.
Fast forward if you don't want to hear about this, but he hit Ella's head against the floor, he stomped on her stomach, and she saw him put out a cigarette on her mother's leg to check if she was dead or if she was faking it.
Fucking cunt.
Melody also added that Spade had sexually assaulted her throughout her childhood. So there's that too.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's just great.
Yeah. So, in trial, Spade was defended by attorney P. Basil Lambros, very fancy name, in what was the longest case in county history at the time and attracted a huge amount of media attention due to the stories of scandal and fame. Everyone knew who Spade Cooley was at that time, so it was a big deal. And he was such a drama queen, too. He collapsed when his daughter's statement was played in court. He also...
Please.
Yeah, he just kept fainting at different points.
Oh, what a fanny. Also, like, hard enough to put a fucking cigarette out on your dead wife's leg, but now you're fainting like a Victorian woman.
Yes, exactly. He did have bad health. He had already at that point had a heart attack, and I think he was only in his 50s, so yeah.
Good.
Just to, like, add that in there, like, maybe he actually couldn't handle it because he probably couldn't drink anymore and you know, pass out from drinking. Now he had to, like, sit there and listen to everything that he did. So when he took the stand, he still stood by his story of Ella falling in the shower. However, he did mention that he thought that she was having affairs and having an affair with his friend Roy Rogers. So
completely irrelevant.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, she fell in the shower. I heard her fall, and I went to check. But also, she was having affairs, so there's that too.
Was she showering it in an ashtray?
Yeah. So obviously there was overwhelming evidence against him, along with his daughter's statement against him. Spade Cooley was convicted of first-degree murder by a Kern County jury on August 21st, 1961. He also unexpectedly withdrew an insanity plea. He was spared the death sentence in the gas chamber, and he was sentenced to life in prison. However...
Nice. For the 60s, oh, okay.
Just rewind that.
Okay.
However, Spade proved to be a model prisoner. 4 years into his sentence, he admitted to his crime of killing his wife. So he was like, yeah, I actually did kill her. She didn't fall in the shower.
Doy.
On August 5th, 1968, the California State Adult Authority voted unanimously to parole him on February 22nd, 1970, because he was such a good model prisoner, and he was kind of famous.
From life to that.
Yeah. Cooley had served less than 9 years of a life sentence, and he was in poor health from heart trouble. So that was another reason why they were able to get him paroled. He was 60, by the way. I feel like you must have had pretty bad health to be 60 and be released from prison.
Yeah, I guess like the logic in that is you're too ill to kill anyone else.
That's true. Yeah.
Like that's not good enough.
No. I think also there was a point where he also had a grandson at that point, and like he talked about how much he loved his grandson. He kind of knew Ronald Reagan because they were both in movies, like Western type movies, and it was at that point that
What?
Ronald Reagan was trying to be in politics, and so there's a rumor that Ronald Reagan may have like put in a good word for his friend Spade Cooley.
I need to read a lot more about Ronald Reagan. That doesn't seem like a straight line.
You really do. That's just a rumor though. He didn't publicly like, even though Spade Cooley publicly asked for parole from Ronald Reagan did not publicly approve it, but they still think that he put in a good word
Yeah, he's like a
secretly
pal.
on the
Yeah.
side. Yeah. So, on November 23rd, 1969, he received a 72-hour furlough from the prison hospital unit at Vacaville to play a benefit concert for the Deputy Sheriff's Association of Alameda County.
You ain't that fucking ill.
Yeah. Jeez, you're in hospital, but you get to go out to play a show for 500 people.
Jeez.
Yeah. So he's at he's playing at the Oakland Auditorium. During his intermission, after a standing ovation, Cooley suffered a fatal heart attack backstage and he died there and then. Imagine that
Good.
show. Someone you give a standing ovation to your
Woo!
favorite musician and then someone comes out and is like, sorry everyone, but he died.
He's not coming back. He's dead.
Yeah.
No, you.
Show's over.
Encore. No, you're playing hard to get. No, he's seriously, he died.
Truly, he's not coming out here, you guys. We gotta go now.
Bring him out. Bring him out. Murdered his wife. Gets a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah. So, to this day, he remains the only convicted killer with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
No!
Right next to Kevin Costner's star. And that is
what?
the story.
That's prime real estate!
I know. I wonder how Kevin Costner feels about that. But anyways, that is
I'd
the story
be
of
fucked off.
Spade Cooley.
That was a great
murderer.
story.
Yeah.
Thanks. I didn't know anything about him or
I
that.
didn't know
I'll definitely
either.
look that up.
Thanks to my friend Ellen, who she knows her music and music history, and she suggested this story of him. So thanks, Ellen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a good story. I know that you are in a bad mood and you want to go. So here's my story.
I'm not in that.
Let's get
I'm
in.
in a much better mood after talking to you today, Talicza. So
God,
let's hear
that's
your
really
story.
Nice, mate. I'm glad. You're like, let's hear your story quickly. Okay, so I'm going to keep the identity of mine secret until his name comes out like yours. So, okay, Paul Francis Gad was born on the 8th of May 1944 in Banbury, Oxfordshire, England. So Oxfordshire, we've hit it a few times. It's between Birmingham and London, slap bang in the middle of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So he never knew his father, but his mother and his grandmother brought him up. Since his mum was unmarried, it was shameful to have a child in 1944, and she found it really hard to cope.
Mm-hmm.
On top of this, Paul was hard to control, and at the age of 10, he and his brother were taken into care. So he would frequently run away from care and head to London to visit the clubs.
Oh, wow.
So that seems fun.
Yeah.
So by the time he was 16, he loved performing and he'd sing at clubs such as the Two Eyes in Old Compton Street in Soho. I've never been there.
I don't think I have either.
Apparently it was a really big deal. So this club it's got one of those like blue plaques that you get in London, like when someone famous like lived there or whatever. If really you don't know what a blue plaque is in London, just Google it. Like there's really cool ones everywhere. This club housed so many future stars such as Cliff Richard. Again, he's a fucking dodgy. I mark my words, that man is a nonce and he will be outed as soon as he's dead. So that in early 2006 they were awarded a blue plaque for 50 years contribution to rock and roll.
Okay.
So in January 1960, he released his first single, Alone in the Night, under his new stage name, Paul Raven. Film producer Robert Hartford Davis had spotted him in The Two Eyes and paid for him to record with the record label Decca. So that's just a record label under Universal, and they do like jazz and old country, like Shovels and Rope were signed to them, a really good country band. And Steve Martin as well released his albums under Decca, because I used to work for them when I did an internship for them.
Really?
When I lived in London, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool time. In July 1963, Paul Gad married a lady called Anne Merton. Can't find out anything about her. I think she was just kind of a non-event, bless her. And then from 1961 to 1964, his career started to stall. And then in 1964, him and Anne had a son called Paul. And in 1966, they had a daughter called Sarah.
There's like really weird similarities to yours and mine stories. Like his first wife was Anne, country music. And he was also like kind of a hellraiser when he was a kid. He caused a lot of trouble. So weird parallels.
Yeah, there's even more coming up as well. So in 1965, he joined other successful bands, and he spent 5 years touring across the UK and West Germany. Because obviously at that point there was West Germany and East Germany.
Yes.
So West Germany is the German-controlled one, but you could actually go in. And East Germany was the Russian-controlled bit where nobody went. As the glam rock movement took off in the 70s, Paul Raven changed his name to Gary Glitter.
Oh, I was like, who's Paul Raven? Why would I know who that is? But Gary Glitter... Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that he's done some shit, so let's hear about it.
So I knew that he'd done some shit, but I didn't know exactly what he'd done.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's why I was keen to find out. So he basically got to the name Gary Glitter by going through the alphabet and then making up alliterative names. So as in the first and second letter are the same.
Okay.
So other options included Terry Tinsel, Stanley Sparkle, and my personal favourite, Vicky Vomit.
What? Oh my gosh. Wait, let's think of a couple
Great
more.
stage name, Gary.
Let's think of a couple more. And they have to have like some kind of sparkly element. What's that about?
Freddie Fireworks?
Freddie Fireworks.
Vomit, though. I don't know where's vomit come from.
Yeah.
Tinsel, yeah. Sparkle, glitter. Vomit.
All things that like shoot out, I guess. So fireworks.
The explosives.
Yeah. What am I thinking of? Oh, Charlie Confetti. That's another one.
That's great. Yeah, good one. Any more? I want to say like Roger Ripple, but something better than that. I don't know. Let's move on.
Yeah.
So in 1972, the song that made him shoot to fame was Rock and Roll Part 1. So just for like, I know this song because I used to hear it when I was a kid, and it is a fucking banger, to be fair. But you know, in Joker, when he's going down the stairs,
yes,
that's Rock and Roll Part 1.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It goes da 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 da. That's Rock and Roll Part 1.
Okay, cool.
It's a fucking good song, to be fair. So it made it to number 1 in France, number 2 in the UK singles chart, and it was top 10 in the US. So it was like went stateside. So he, unsurprisingly, he got divorced the year that came out. He was like, "See ya."
Okay.
Make it big. Get rid of my ride or die.
Yeah.
So Gary Glitter reportedly owned 30 glitter suits and 50 pairs of silver platform boots.
Wow.
Yeah, he does have really cool stage garb. He also released several singles which became UK top 10 hits. He had 11 consecutive top 10 singles from 1972 to 1975.
Wow,
so that's pretty
he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, he was a big deal. So after subsequent releases weren't as successful, however, Glitter announced his retirement from the music industry to start a family with his new partner in 1976. So I don't know who that is. He then took a 2-year-long break in France and Australia before he returned to the UK. and when he came back, he had to declare himself bankrupt. But he later blamed this on the UK high rate of tax.
Okay.
Everyone else seems to be coping.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not
Poor
really like
you.
a it's not sort of nationwide
Yeah.
financial downfall. Just seems to have affected the glitter.
Oh God, everyone's filing bankruptcy. We're all in this together.
Freddie Mercury's like, I'm all right.
Yeah.
So he made a comeback in the 80s and he was playing nightclubs and he brought out a Christmas single. So that's when you know you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And during this time, he also announced that he was going to become a Buddhist and a vegetarian. Well, he does some pretty non-Buddhist shit in a while. So in the early 90s, he was bankrupt again.
Okay.
So he tried to make money by doing celebrity endorsements, one of which was British Rail. And in one of them, so basically with British Rail, you can get like a British Rail card.
Yeah.
And if you're 16 to 25, you get one. It gives you a third off a train ticket every time
Yeah.
you buy it.
Yeah.
So he's shown trying to look younger so that he can get a young person's rail card. I really need to
Okay.
YouTube that advert. It's got to be knocking
We
around.
need to find that.
Yeah, so he also tried to open a restaurant in Leicester Square. And this is only funny if you know the name of his bat. So he brought out a song called Leader of the Pack.
Mm.
Or, yeah. It was like, you wanna... Oh, he brought another one. It was like, you wanna be in my gang, my gang, my gang. Like, yeah. And then, so he had a restaurant and he called it Leader of the Snack. But it shortly
What?
closed.
Oh my gosh. That's
I know.
hilarious.
So this is where it all gets a bit pear-shaped. So in November 1997, he took his laptop to be repaired at a tech company in Bristol. Whoop whoop.
Mm.
The technician found indecent images of children on the hard drive of the laptop.
No.
So the guy at the computer place reported this to the police, and then Glitter's houses were searched.
Mm.
Further images were discovered on devices in his houses in London and Somerset. So he lives in Somerset, that's why he's taking it to Bristol, because that's where Bristol is.
Okay, yeah.
He was severely chastised in the media over the allegations, and his appearance in the Spice Girls musical comedy film Spice World was promptly cut. Do you remember that
Good.
film?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, good. It's got, because obviously Spice Girls are marketed at children, so
Yeah.
it's so not appropriate. Like,
No, not at
yeah.
all.
But I mentioned that the other day, and Carly was like, "There's so many stupid celebrity cameos in that film," and I was
There
like, "I don't remember it
are.
at all." Like,
I think I've blocked it from memory. The only thing that I can remember is that they are on like a British
They're a
like
bus, aren't they?
double-decker bus, and I think they're in the
Like
US at some
yeah.
point.
Are they?
Yeah,
I want to say Elton John's in it.
he probably
Like,
is.
yeah, he's pretty like up for a laugh.
Yeah.
Also, I had the VHS, and it was a lime green VHS, and it was in a tin,
Oh my god.
like instead of a plastic case. And honestly, it was my pride and joy. And do you know the Spice Girls? Because it's been 25 years since they brought out their greatest hits. They're bringing out their greatest hits on vinyl,
Wow.
and you could get like Scary Spice 1 is like lime green.
Yeah.
Baby Spice is pink. A
Yeah.
pink vinyl with the Spice Girls. Like, I want all of them so
Get
bad.
it.
And I'm like,
Get
that's going to
them.
set you back so much money. Like, yeah, I kind of really want them.
Worth it.
It does seem worth it, right? And they're bringing out a cassette tape as well. You could buy a cassette
Really?
that you could play on nothing.
I know.
So that's
Who
fun.
has anything to play those anymore?
Yeah, I don't have a cassette player anywhere. So anyway, sorry, this isn't about Spice Girls because they've
Nope.
done nothing wrong. This is about this cunt Gary Glitter.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was cut out of the Spice Girls film. On the 12th of November 1999, Mr. Justice Butterfield sentenced Glitter to 4 months in prison and placed him on the sex offender register in the UK after he admitted to downloading more than 4,000 indecent images of children.
4 months is not very long, though.
No, you don't actually get that long for downloading indecent images of children. But I've heard that it's because there's just so fucking many people that do it that like our prisons would be overrun.
Oh my
So they're
gosh.
like,
That's
Just put you
terrible.
on the sex offenders register.
Yeah.
And then you can't work with children.
Or live near schools
That's,
or, yeah.
yeah, that's kind of like more of a punishment than being in prison.
Yeah.
And a safer way to deal with it. But yeah, if anybody knows like why it's such a low sentence, then definitely give us a bell.
Yeah.
But so after that, he was also charged with having sex with an underage child of 14, but he was cleared of those charges, and that's because the 14-year-old girl was in air quotes relationship with Glitter in the 1970s.
No.
But it was later no, not a relationship. She cannot consent.
Yeah.
But it was later revealed that she had sold her story to the News of the World paper, and she stood to earn more money from the newspaper if he was found to be guilty.
Okay.
So it kind of got thrown out of court. Like that ruined the case. As the scandal grew, Glitter fled on his yacht called Voyager to Spain. He lived in Soto Grande for 6 months. So I had to Google where that is, and it says Soto Grande is the largest privately owned residential development in Andalusia in Spain.
Wow.
Some of the richest and most powerful families of Spain, Russia, and the UK reside there.
Oh my gosh.
So he lived there in his yacht, which was moored in the marina. Not a bad life, is it?
No, right?
Living on your yacht,
rubbing shoulders
lovely
with
Spain.
the top dogs of the world.
Yeah.
He had it made.
Yeah, he's all good. So he told the locals that his name was Larry Brilliante. Come
What is it
on.
with him and his names? Like, how
Fucking
flashy.
Who voluntarily calls himself Gary?
Yeah.
And he spent his time in the local bars. However, word spread about his real identity, and so he moved to Cuba, where he met a new partner, Eugenia Sosa Martinez, and they had a son together in February 2001, who he named Gary Jr. Poor fucker.
Yeah.
Not even your real name.
So
And then he moved to Cambodia.
Gary Jr., if he was born in 2001, would be 20 now.
He'd be like 19, 20. Yeah, because my nephew's born in 2000, so that's how I like know how old the youth are.
Yeah.
So in late 2002, he was detained over his previous sex offences, and he spent 4 days in custody before being released on bail. And then in January 2003, he was deported from Cambodia to Thailand on a flight to Bangkok. So from March 2005, Glitter settled in Vung Tau, Vietnam. He rented a luxury seaside villa and applied for a permanent residency.
He's just having a life. Like, he's going to all these hot countries.
Island hopping.
Yeah.
Luxury apartments.
Right.
Yeah, it's fucking really annoying what a nice life he has. So
right.
He came to the attention of the Vietnamese police after being banned from a nightclub for groping a teenage waitress. Eyewitnesses, it said allegedly in there, and I was like, he fucking obviously did that. So I'm leaving it in. Come sue me. So eyewitnesses also reported him taking 2 young girls into his home. Then on the 12th of November 2005, he fled his home because he knew the police were coming to raid it. They found a 15-year-old girl living there and questioned her. After this, police began a manhunt for him, and he was eventually arrested at Ho Chi Minh City Airport, trying to board a flight to Bangkok. 6 Vietnamese girls and women then came forward, aged 11 to 23, claiming that they'd had sex with him. So of those 6, only 2 were underage. So after his arrest, he was returned to Vung Tau and held on suspicion of having sex with 2 underage girls. He was held until a month and a half later, when on Boxing Day, the 26th of December, when the charges of rape were dropped for lack of evidence. However, it came to light that the families of the girls had been paid off, and then they appealed for clemency for him. So he was like, basically paid them off and said, just drop it.
Tell him I'm a good guy.
Yeah, we were watching a program about Michael Jackson a little bit earlier, and he paid people off, and we were like, no innocent person would pay someone off.
Right.
Not at all.
No.
Especially for an undisclosed amount of money. You'd be like, I'm fucking innocent, so bring it to court.
Right.
Like, bring it.
I want everyone to know that I'm innocent. I'm not
Yeah.
going to pay to silence you.
No.
Yeah,
I'm not giving you any money, you fucking liar.
Right.
Like, no way would you pay them off.
Right.
So, yeah, no innocent person pays someone off,
Yeah,
basically.
that's a good point.
Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. So, so he denied the charges, but this is fucking Michael Jackson as well. He admitted that an 11-year-old girl had slept in his bed. What you doing with an 11-year-old Vietnamese girl in your bed?
Where in that sentence did you think was okay? No.
Yeah.
There's nothing right with that.
No. So this is right. In Vietnam, the punishment for child rape is execution by firing squad.
Whoa.
So they don't look kindly on it.
No.
And he was right to pay those people off. Like,
jeez.
Yeah, the Vietnamese don't fuck around.
No, they don't.
After escaping these charges, 5 months later, on the 2nd of March 2006, this is 5 months later, just keep it in your fucking pants, Glitter was tried on charges of committing obscene acts with 2 girls aged 10 and 11.
Oh my god.
The next day, he was found guilty and sentenced to 3 years in prison.
Listen, clearly you have enough money to island hop, to pay people off, to
live on a yacht.
Pay for some goddamn therapy, dude. Go to rehab.
I thought you were going to say sex workers.
Well, sure, that too, but maybe get to the bottom of, like, the thing that is really illegal and shitty. Just stop doing it.
But I was thinking, like, oh, you could just pay a sex worker to pretend to be younger than they are. And I'm like, but they don't like that. Yeah. They want the power of intimidating a child and making them feel scared and like shit and like they can't escape. Like, that's what they get off on. It's not even necessarily the sex.
So pay for some therapy to get over that.
Yeah.
That's my TED Talk.
Yes. Thank you. So the next day, he was found guilty and sentenced to 3 years. So this included a mandatory deportation at the end of his sentence and the payment of 5 million Vietnamese dong, or $315, to his victims' families.
How much?
$315. I suppose, like, in Vietnam, that's probably a lot of money.
Yeah, but
Which makes me think, even if he did pay off the people from before, it's not going to be hundreds of thousands of pounds, is it?
Yeah, it probably
He's probably going to pay them, like...
Couple
He's probably going to pay them, like, what in Vietnam would be a lot of money.
Right.
Like, not a lot of money to him. So, Judge... I don't know if I'm going to be able to pronounce this, but Judge Hang Tan Tung said... He sexually abused and committed obscene acts with children many times in a disgusting and sick manner. So, Glitter continued to deny any wrongdoing, and he said that the UK papers have framed him.
Whatever. Why? Why would they do that?
All of those times. Yeah. Well, all of those times?
Right.
In May 2006, he went on BBC News and denied being a paedophile, and said he hadn't knowingly had sex with anyone under 18. Pretty grown-up 11-year-olds.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Yeah, fucking liar. He said that he hoped he could put his life back on track and have a career after he left prison in England. That just shows you how deluded he is.
Just ego. It's
like,
the same as, like...
people are going to buy his fucking records.
Yeah, and it's the same as, like, Chris Watts, like, going on the news, like, oh, I'm innocent. I can fake it to anyone. Everyone will believe me. Like, what kind of delusional... ego mind do you have?
Narcissist.
Yeah.
Yeah, he continued to assert that the press had set him up by paying underage girls in bars to arrange photo ops with him.
Okay, I mean, if that is the case, then you took pictures with underage kids and that's it.
There's underage and there's 11.
Like, well, I mean, like...
there's on the border, could have been a mistake.
Well, if a fan comes up to you and says, hey, can I have a picture? There's no crime in that. If he's saying that someone set him up... The crime is
taking them home and raping them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how did you take it further? No one set you up. You did it.
Yeah, you can just go, You could just go, well, thanks very much. Here's a photo.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't want to take you home and sleep with you.
Right.
Like,
by the
yeah,
way.
they're not going, yeah, just by the way.
Yeah.
And also, he didn't comment about his previous conviction for downloading indecent images of children. Just fucking forget that.
Oh,
Like,
that was so long
I'm not
ago.
a paedophile. That mistake, was it? 4,000 images.
Yeah.
So, also, I was saying, like, I fucking hate it when people call it child porn, because I'm like, porn kind of suggests a level of cooperation.
Right.
Those children aren't performing, like,
No.
they're being raped on
Right.
screen. It's indecent images of children. It's not
Yes.
porn.
Yeah.
It's not to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
On the 15th of June 2006, Glitter appealed for a reduction in his sentence. This was rejected. You, sir, may fuck off. When he left the courthouse in Vietnam, he shouted angrily at reporters that the courts wouldn't listen to his arguments.
How delusional are
No.
you, dude? Like, of
He's
course
only in
they're
prison
not.
for 3 years.
Yeah.
Considering what he did, he got off pretty lightly. And then the next year, on the 7th of February 2007, it was announced his sentence had been reduced by 3 months.
Okay.
He shared a cell with 18 other foreign inmates, but because of his age, he was exempt from hard labour. Again, the Vietnamese don't fuck about.
How old is he at this
he suffered
point?
50,
60s?
yeah, it's like 63
Okay.
or something like that. But again, like, he's not a well man, so it kind of like reminds me of your guy.
Yeah.
So he suffered from high blood pressure, and he was put on medication and told that he can't buy beer from the prison canteen. Vietnamese fuck about in some ways, but not in others. Like,
You've done some hard labor today. You've earned yourself a beer. Now get
deserve
back
a
in your
beer.
cell.
You can break rocks and then have a beer. On the 4th of January 2008, he was taken to a prison hospital where tests showed that he had an irregular heartbeat. Later that month, he suffered a heart attack and collapsed in his cell. Again, couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke. And was taken to a hospital in Pantiet, where he was kept under police guard. In the UK, it was reported that he'd been placed on the sex offenders register. So when he returned, he was going to be placed on that sex offenders register again.
Okay.
British Home Secretary Jackie Smith said he should be given a foreign travel order banning him from overseas travel. She said, "We need to control him, and he will be controlled once he returns to this country." So he's not keen to go back to the UK. He was released on the 19th of August 2008, and he was escorted under police guard to an airport and put on a flight to London via Bangkok. So at the stop-off in Bangkok, he claimed that he had tinnitus and a heart condition. Just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
I also broke my toe.
Yeah. Does that mean I can't fly?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a doctor diagnosed... Oh, and he refused to board the flight to London.
Oh my gosh.
So
what
a doctor
drama
diagnosed
queen.
him... Yeah. He's basically, like, really dragging his heels between the flights. A doctor diagnosed him with costochondritis, also known as chest wall pain syndrome, which is just a benign inflammatory condition. So he described him painkillers and declared him fit for travel.
Yeah.
Absolutely gutted.
Get on that plane.
Yeah. Here's a paracetamol. I'll see you in 6 hours.
Yeah.
So Glitter continued to refuse to leave. He booked himself into a transit lounge room and claimed he was a free man. He was refused admission to Thailand as a threat to domestic morality.
Okay.
Thai immigration officials gave it is true. Thai immigration officials gave him a deadline to leave the country and warned that he would be detained and deported to the UK if he didn't leave voluntarily. So on the evening of the 20th of August, so this is like the next day.
Yeah.
He took a flight to Hong Kong where he requested medical treatment, saying that he was suffering a heart attack. The Hong Kong authorities also refused to admit him, and he was returned to Thailand the next day. See ya.
No, you're not. Bye.
So at least 19 countries, including Cuba, Cambodia, the Philippines, announced that they would refuse entry to him.
Good.
So everyone's like, don't even bother getting on a flight to Cuba because you can't come here. And on the 21st of August, the Thai authorities stated that he had agreed to return to the UK.
Good.
So it took him 2 days of fucking around at the airports to realise there's
tantrums.
nowhere else for you to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. He arrived back at the UK at Heathrow Airport at 7:10 a.m. on the 22nd of August 2008, where he was met by British police officers. On his return to the United Kingdom, he was added to the Sex Offenders Register for life and stated an intention to appeal against that. But then on the 16th of January 2009, it was announced that he just abandoned doing that. So, on the 25th of June 2008, the Daily Telegraph reported that Glitter planned to record a new album after his prison release.
What?
No one's going to buy that.
No.
He was quoted as saying, "I have an incomplete album that I want to finish. I've been thinking about the plan during my days in jail. I've sung rock and roll for 40 years, and after jail, I'll continue to rock and roll."
Oh,
No, you
no.
won't.
Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to know.
No. I mean, even when people didn't know you were a sex offender, they lost interest. Like, on October 2012, ITV aired the documentary The Other Side of Jimmy Savile. Obviously, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who Jimmy
I've
Savile is?
mentioned him before,
His
yeah.
TV personality from the 60s who looks like Satan himself.
Yeah.
In a tracksuit. And he, oh God, he did very bad things, including necrophilia and
Did you do an episode on him?
like,
I think you did.
there's so many celebrities. So basically, the BBC. So there was loads of people at the BBC who were being sexual predators.
Yeah.
So the police in London did something called Operation U Tree,
Yeah.
and that was kind of investigating all the sexual offenders from the 70s who were famous. So loads of people got taken out,
Right.
like in one go.
Right.
So he was part. So I haven't done an episode on him, but I've probably mentioned him as part of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have definitely mentioned that before.
So yeah. So basically, accounts included an accusation against Gary Glitter, who was alleged to have raped a 13 or 14-year-old girl in Savile's dressing room. So they were hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, they were big mates.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
On the 28th of October... No, they all stick together, don't they? Fucking pedos. So, on the 28th of October, Glitter was arrested and questioned by the police as part of Operation U Tree. He was released on bail, but then on the 5th of June 2014, he was charged with 8 counts of sexual offences committed against 2 girls aged 12 to 14 between 1977 and 1980.
Okay.
On the 19th of January 2015, he appeared at Southwark Crown Court accused of 7 counts of indecent assault, 1 count of attempted rape, and 2 other sexual offences against 3 girls.
Keep it in your pants, bro.
Assaulting...
You're known as this person now.
They're
like,
so
why
young
are
as
you
well.
continuing it?
They're like so young.
Yeah.
It's not like they were 17 or it was like, oh, I didn't know.
Right.
Like,
clearly,
being 12 and 13, you look like a child.
Yes. Clearly, you know.
Yeah, so he invited them backstage to his dressing room and he also attempted to rape a girl under the age of 10 after having crept into her bed.
Oh, no.
So the trial lasted 2.5 weeks. And then on the 7th of February, the next month, he was convicted of attempted rape, 4 counts of indecent sexual assault, and 1 of having sex with a girl under the age of 13. He was acquitted of 3 other counts. He was remanded in custody, and then he was sentenced to 16 years in prison. Sentencing judge Alistair McCreath said he could find no real evidence that Paul Gad had atoned for his crimes. The 70-year-old showed no emotion as he left the dock at Southwark Crown Court. The judge, McCreath, said his victims were all profoundly affected by his abuse. You did all of them real and lasting damage, and you did so for no other reason than to obtain sexual gratification for yourself.
Yeah.
I think that kind of covers it, really.
Yeah.
In May 2015, he began an appeal against his convictions.
What?
In November, they denied that, saying there was nothing unsafe about his conviction.
Yeah.
And then in October 2019, when The Joker came out, there was controversy because everybody thought he was going to get royalties for his song, but he had sold all of his rights to Universal Music Publishing Group, so he wouldn't receive any royalties for that song. And then, as of mid-2021, he's incarcerated at HM Prison, the Verne, It's a Category C men's prison located on the island of Portland in Dorset, England.
Wow.
And that is the story of Paul Gad,
I hope
aka Gary
he's
Glitter.
sitting in his cell, freezing,
He's 70.
miserable. Yeah.
Actually, he's 76 now.
Still, I think he could have another 20 years.
Yeah, in England, you wouldn't get out unless you are like on death's door.
Right.
Like terminal cancer, got a couple of days left. And even then, the Home Secretary has to say you can come out.
He was sentenced for 16 years, though. How many years has it been?
It's been 6, so he's got another 10 to go.
Okay, so he'll be 86 by the time he gets out. Not much for him to do then.
I don't think he'll make it to 86. He's already had a heart attack.
Yeah,
like
that's
one,
true.
like loads of those were fake heart attacks, but one of them was real. So...
He's had tinnitus. He's had.
You don't die of tinnitus. Oh no, ringing in my ears! Ah!
Oh no, can't handle.
Somebody get the defibrillator! Ah!
Honestly, I'd totally see him doing that. Like, I'm dying.
Oh no,
tinnitus.
he seems like a fucking malingerer.
Yeah. Wow.
Honestly, when you see his like picture of him as an old man, he looks like the fucking creepiest rapey old dude you've ever seen. He's got like a white goatee that's like really long beard section.
Gross.
He just looks like a goatee devil man. It's awful.
No wonder he's friends with Jimmy Savile. They will be sitting in hell with the rest of the men that look like them, and
with everyone from the BBC from 1965 onwards. BBC reunion in hell. See you there.
Disgusting. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. All those details I did not know. I just knew he was a bad person, and that when the Joker film came out, then there was some controversy about it, but interesting to know the whole story.
That's a fucking good song.
I was thinking about this, right? All those like Michael Jackson songs, Gary Glitter, who else? Anyone else? And I was thinking about this films too. Woody Allen films, Roman Polanski. Remake them.
I love Louis C.K., but like he is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like there's no getting around that.
Right.
It's okay to admit that he's both.
We want to enjoy his music. We want to enjoy the music, the movies, the comedy. Just get someone with a clean record who's a nice person to redo them.
Will Smith.
Yeah.
He'll never let you down.
Yeah.
Who else is a good guy? Paul Rudd.
He'll
never let you down.
Tom Hanks. Will Smith.
Who else is going to heaven? If I find out Tom Hanks is a nonce, I'm going to be really upset.
Get some females in there. Give them some opportunities. Get like, I don't know, name like an amazing female singer. She can do Michael Jackson songs.
Adele. She's not going to do anything bad. She's great. She's salt of the earth.
That's my idea, and I think we should move forward with it.
The label can be called Village of the Damned, and that's where we record all the new stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Village of the Undamned.
Yeah.
Like, God, we are firing off some fucking creative magic today.
We're gonna be rich.
You mark this spot. Anyway, on that bombshell.
On that note, thank you for listening. See us in a few years when we're making the cash and
billionaires.
Join us on the ride.
Okay, love you. Bye.
All right, bye.
Thanks for listening to Transatlantic Crime this week. If you liked what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe.
And if you'd like to follow us on social media, you can find us on Twitter at TransatCrimePod, Instagram at Transatlantic Crime, and on Facebook with Transatlantic Crime Podcast.
Thanks, bye.